Marlene Dietrich said, "It's the friends you can call at 4 in the morning that really matter." And I didn't really know what that meant until I was diagnosed with breast cancer. One thing about breast cancer is not only you learn who your real friends are, but you learn the importance of the support, friendships, and family. Now, I wasn't alone when I was diagnosed. I had my husband, super supportive husband. I had my kids. I had family far away, but I had family. I wasn't alone, but I didn't want to put everything on them. I didn't want them to be just weighed down, and I didn't want them to be driven just by my cancer. I didn't want it to define them. I didn't want my husband to be just pegged as just be my caregiver. While he was so super supportive and there for me and really positive, I didn't want that to be define him either. Kids were young, so they were only Gideon was 6, Xavier was 12, Julia was 13, if I think I'm getting that right. So they were still pretty young, but I wanted to be really honest with them, but I also wanted them to not be too scared, and they all took it differently, so I just wanted it to one of the things I really was worried about and thinking about then was keeping it positive, letting them know that cancer diagnosis wasn't going to take over our life. It wasn't going to define who they were, who we were as a family. I wanted to make sure that they still experienced their birthday parties and got to go out and do the regular things that they did as kids. I did, like I said, I had support, but my family is 3,000 miles away. At that time, I was in Las Vegas. My family's back East New York. And also, again, support, but they were there for me. I guess I was a little afraid to ask for too much, but they were really, really, I guess looking back on this, I also didn't say, I'm thinking about like what I'm going to talk about here. So I went back, I used to have a blog. So I went back to, this was my first blog post. And what I wrote about was friendship. And I'm gonna get into it. I've talked about this one particular person, but, let's go back to how I was feeling at that time. The I my 3,000 miles away. I can't think we had a car at the moment. My husband drives. I don't drive too. So, I was losing some of my independence because in 2011, that's when everything changed. That's when my diagnosis with breast cancer happened, and my we could separate my life between before cancer and after cancer. So 2011 is that defining moment when we're like, "Oh, I have cancer," and my new normal changed. I had a new normal. My normal routine changed. We went from just, everyday life to having to go to doctor's visits, labs, the ER. I had like a to-go bag ready. It was kinda like when you are pregnant and you know you're gonna go into labor, so you have a bag ready to go. I had that for the ER because I had multiple visits to the ER and sometimes spent a long time there. So that became but it was a lot. That's what we were doing all the time. And during that time, I was in a martial arts group, capoeira, a Brazilian martial art. And there was this young girl in my class, Karen, who was in her 20s, only knew her for a few months. And I wasn't asking anyone for help at that point. I was a little guarded. I didn't want anyone to ask for help. And she took it upon herself to help care of me, the kids, helped out my husband. She drove us to doctor's visits, held my hand. When I got surgery, she bought me, I still to this, it's crazy. I still have them. She bought these monkey pajama bottoms, Julius the monkey. She was there through everything. And it was crazy because this was this like unconditional love and friendship that I didn't know I needed. And it came from somebody I barely knew. She even like, when I came home from the hospital, I had drains at it was hard to lift my arms, it was hard to bathe, she helped bathe me. She cried with me, she laughed with me. I remember there was a store we used to go shopping and they would play, like, old school music, and I remember great happy memories of, shopping and singing, all of us, Julius, Karen, and myself singing to the music. It was just just a beautiful thing because we really I didn't know her. I wanna say that the friendship you have during these times like this are not a replacement of your family. They help actually keep the family together because I feel like she took a little of the load off of Julius and the kids, and she kept it light. Like, Julius was really great about keeping it positive, my husband, Julius. He was great about keeping it positive and not focusing on the cancer and worrying about reoccurrence. But having just another person really helped. It helped just kind of protect and support the family. Another big support that I had being so far away was online because any of you who have had a bilateral mastectomy, any major surgery, really, it's very hard to sleep. And when you have a bilateral mastectomy, like I couldn't just sit up all night. So I was online a lot and I reconnected with many friends I hadn't talked to for over 20 years, maybe more. Friends that they kept telling me, "Oh, you're a warrior, you're so strong." And at first I was like, "Really? I don't feel that way." But after getting that reinforcement all the time, I actually started to believe them. And those friendships were great because like I said, I reconnected in a great way. Some of them even sent me care packages, jammies, food I needed, just comfort foods. It just made me remember another friend who ironically was another person we didn't know that well, also a young woman in her 20s who took me shopping. I remember after my mastectomy, she took me shopping to get some clothes that I felt comfortable in, some of which I still have too. There's some blouses I still wear today, and that was a long time ago. So, yeah, it's beautiful, and I wanna focus on the that weren't there. I wanna focus on these people that came out of nowhere, and they just offered me this unconditional love. Another thing in a lot of research I was doing, I found that women with strong friendships are more likely to beat cancer. This is something you support, whether you think it or not. Like, you can't be strong in isolation. You it more than you realize, and I think when it was happening, I didn't really think about it. I know with my marriage and my kids, I definitely protected them and I kept like, I remember at one point I was saying I didn't want my husband to see me. He saw me crying and he was like, "Why are you hiding that?" But I know he did the same. I know that he's want to show that he was scared or worried. And I think that goes back to having some extra support helps too, having those extra friends. And hard when you're going through this and your family and grew up with that really know you and that are so far away. It helps to have like you can talk online and have the friends on the phone and that helped. But having support there is important. And having even like this, the simple things that just help drive you to appointments, help, like I think help bathe you and I really think that, like, family and friendship is almost more than medicine and the treatments. Because without those friends, Karen, Shalise was another one, I don't know if we woulda made it. Like, I mean, I'm sure we're strong, we woulda gotten through, but, like, she really was a huge piece in recovery. And thinking about I'm gonna get a little teary right now thinking about it. I need to check on her. I haven't. We lost touch. Sorry. Um, but yeah. So part of this is like going back and I think there's a lot that when you've gone through trauma like this, you don't think about for a long time. And I think revisiting is it getting to me a little bit. I wasn't planning on crying, but it's where I am. And I'm so grateful for the family and friends that were there for me through all of this. And when I was reading, like I went back to my blogs and I was reading them and I started to cry through that too. And I think that sorry, I've been maybe there's a lot that I pushing away and I haven't been dealing with. But I think that is crying and it's showing that vulnerability is it should be a strength too. I think that it's been hard for me to think about coming here and talking to you guys, but I want us to be able to cry together and real. I think that's showing more strength than anything, really, is being vulnerable. Sorry, got a little cold too. Because you can be strong, you can be loved, and don't have to do it alone. And one thing I'm learning, still learning, is being strong can also be vulnerable. I think that it's okay to cry. I just did it. But I'm here, and I'm so blessed to still be here. I mean, and I'm so grateful for my family. I mean, I had a friend who husband left her. She passed to her cancer metastasized, and her husband didn't stay. through her breast cancer, left her with the kids. So I'm really, really for that. But going back to that quote, "It's the friends you can call at 4 AM that really matter," that is so true, and I learned that during this. There are friends that I grew up with, but I didn't talk to for so many years, but they were still there for me. And I know, like, I've talked about Karen, and we haven't spoken for a while, but I know that if I reach out to her tonight, she'll still be around. She's still there for me. I didn't expect to cry, sorry about that. Yeah. So but I think that the thing I wanna walk away with this is that if you're going through breast cancer, cancer, mental health issues, it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to reach out and need somebody to talk to. But also, even if you're feeling okay, check on your people, check on your friends. I have a thing that I think after you go through cancer, it puts everything into perspective. So sometimes I'll be walking down the street and I see somebody and I feel like they need to hear a good thing. They need to hear like, "Oh, I love that hat." They need a hug. You might not want to hug a stranger, but just people need people, bottom line. Like if you have cancer and you've taken all your medicine and you've done all the treatments, but you are alone, I really believe that you're not going to make it through. We really people need people. And I'm talking about my cancer, but it's with anything you're going through, anything you're struggling with. It's okay to that you need somebody and to ask for help. And on that other side is try to help other people too. Because I read that people never check on your strong friends, and I always feel like I'm kinda like that. People always think and I still like I said, I believed when I was on online and people were telling me I was a warrior and I was strong, and I started to believe them, but I think I'm kinda lying to you because I don't quite feel that. Like, that thing, like, breast cancer survivor is you're war I don't like it bothers me. I don't know why, but it kinda bothers me. I'm going off on tangents, and I think I'll try to stay on topic, but my biggest takeaway from this is how unbelievably important unconditional love and friendship is when you're going through struggles like I went through. And like I said, it doesn't have to be breast cancer. It could be mental health. It could be a stomach ache, honestly, anything you're going through. I don't discount anything, and I also don't judge people anymore, like, you just never know what people are going through behind their, like, facade of a pretty face and a smile. So, just check on your people and just be that support because it world, it meant so much to me. So remember, you can be strong, you can be loved, and you still don't have to do it alone. Just don't do it alone.